So now let's shut down our virtual machine. I'm going to uncheck this option to reopen Windows when logging back in because I like the virtual machine to just load with all the windows closed. And I'll open the windows that I need and programs that I need once the machine starts. So click shutdown. Okay, now we're going to reopen Parallels and set up one setting that will help us use the macOS inside the virtual machine more conveniently. Specifically, we would like to use the spotlight feature using keyboard. So whenever you press the command space key, we would like to see the spotlight come up in the virtual machine, just like it does in our host macOS. To achieve that, we have multiple options, but the one that I choose here is to change settings in the parallels to send the keystrokes directly into the virtual machine from the host machine so that the virtual machine actually listens to the keystrokes, such as the command space and opens Spotlight whenever command space is pressed. So to do that, click on Parallels Desktop at the top left and go to Preferences. No. Click on the Shortcuts tab at the top and then click on the lock icon to unlock settings and enter your password. In the macOS System Shortcuts section on the left, click on it if it's not highlighted. And then in the Send macOS System Shortcuts option, choose Always. If it's set to anything else, just click on it and change the setting to Always. And then click on the lock icon again to lock the settings. And now we can close the Preferences window and we're done. Okay, so now that the virtual machine is installed and configured, let's start using it. So let's say that we have a situation that we want to install some software that we are not entirely sure is secure, or we want to do some complicated configuration that involves things like creating symlinks and editing file in the file system that might be difficult to undo. It's not recommended to necessarily do those things on your base macOS installation on your computer because it might be difficult to undo those changes and might even be harmful to your computer. So we can use the virtual machine, right? But before we do that, I wouldn't recommend installing such software or making such experimental changes in the file system of the virtual machine that we just created either, because this is a clean slate copy of macOS installation, and if you apply any changes or install any software that might be harmful to it, you will lose your clean copy. So it's a better idea to first clone the freshly vanilla installation of your macOS and work with the copy. And if something goes wrong with the copy, or you need to start over because you took some wrong step somewhere, but it's difficult or nearly impossible to undo, you simply erase the copy of the virtual machine, create a new one from the original virtual machine that we created in this video, start the cloned virtual machine, and you have a clean slate to do your experiment all over again. So how do we go about that? So let's go through the steps necessary to create a clone of our newly created virtual machine. So click on those two red lines icon at the top right and select Control Center from there. This shows you the list of available virtual machines in Parallels. Currently, we only have one virtual machine there. So to confirm that, let's look at the external hard drive, how many files representing macOS virtual machines we see there. So right-click on the virtual machine in Parallels and choose Show in Finder. And here we see that we only have one macOS virtual machine installation there. So once we clone it, we will see two. So let's close this window and clone the virtual machine. To do that, right-click on the virtual machine and choose Clone. The default name assigned by Parallels is simply copy off macOS and the original name of the virtual machine that we're copying. We will simply keep the name as is, but you can name it whatever you want. So click on Save. And now the virtual machine is being cloned. This process is going to take a while, so I'm going to speed up the video. Okay, it looks like the copy has been created. So let's confirm that it exists on our external hard drive. So you see here we have two copies now, the macOS original and the copy of macOS. So right click on the copy and choose Show in Finder again. And now we see that we not only have the macOS file, but we also see the copy of macOS file, which represents the cloned virtual machine. We will use this cloned virtual machine to boot from it, do whatever we need to do, and when we're done, we will shut down the virtual machine and erase it from the computer and from the external hard drive. So the way we do that is we close this window and go back to the list of available virtual machines, select the copy of macOS, and then in the left window, click on the play button to start it. Now our virtual machine is booting. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because this also takes a little time. Okay, enter your password as usual. And we are logged into our cloned virtual machine. I'm going to enlarge this video to full screen so that it's easier to work with. Okay, and that's it. This is the running clone of our virtual machine that we can do potentially unsafe things on and not be too worried about the underlying operating system getting damaged. So once you do your experiment, install the software that may not be safe or may be difficult to uninstall or changes that might be difficult to undo, simply shut down the virtual machine and erase it. Let's go through how to do that. So let's shut down this virtual machine by clicking on the Apple icon and choosing shut down as usual. And now we're ready to delete the virtual machine because we don't need it anymore. The next time we want to do some experiment, we will simply clone the base macOS virtual machine again, just like we did, and boot off of that new copy so that we have a clean slate every time. So for now, we're just going to delete this cloned virtual machine. So to do that, right-click on it and choose Remove Copy of macOS. It's going to ask you if you want to keep the files representing this virtual machine on the external drive, or you want to delete them. We're going to delete them because, like I said, in the future, we are going to create a new clone or new copy of the virtual machine that we created in this video. So we don't need to keep files representing the copy of the virtual machine. We will just create a new one in the future. So to delete the files from the external drive, click on Move to Trash, and the virtual machine is gone. To verify that it was actually erased from our external drive and the disk space was released, right-click on the original macOS virtual machine that we created in this video and go to Show in Finder again. And you will see that there's only one macOS virtual machine file now. We saw two of them before. So yes, the virtual machine was deleted and only one is left, the original one, clean slate one. So let's close this window and we can close the Parallels. We're done.
All right, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and if you would like to get the future notifications about my upcoming video postings, also click on that little notification bell icon next to the subscribe button. I have a lot more interesting and unique software and hardware projects lined up, so there's a lot more video content to come. And with that, thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.